Here we go.
Don't Breathe is directed by Fede Alvarez and it stars Stephen Lang, Jane Levy, and Dylan Minnette, and is about a group of friends who, after breaking into the house of a blind man and in order to take a large settlement that he has acquired, things go horribly wrong when they quickly discover that this heist won't be as easy as they once anticipated, because it turns out it was actually a bad idea to rob Cable. Now, the director of this film, Fede Alvarez, actually also directed the remake of Evil Dead, which, if I'm being honest, is pretty good. It offers an extremely different and unique perspective on the Evil Dead universe, and it stands on its own as a pretty decent film. And so far this year, we've had some really good horror films, like with The Conjuring 2, which is one of my favorite movies of the year, Lights Out, and Hush. Which, by the way, if you have not seen Hush, stay tuned to the end of the video because I'll tell you a little bit about that movie. But thankfully, Don't Breathe continues that trend of good horror movies that have come out this year because this movie is pretty freaking awesome. First off, I just want to say thank you to Fede Alvarez for not absolutely littering this movie with jump scares. Because I feel like any other director would have riddled this movie with jump scares, and that absolutely could have tanked this film for me. Because the majority of this movie is very quiet. There's not a lot said, there's not a ton of dialogue, it's mostly just sounds that people make as they're walking. And there are hardly any. I think I remember one false jump scare, and that's it. And considering how much there could have been, like, that is great. Something this movie does really well is it holds suspense. Throughout pretty much the entire movie, there's this sense of tension, and you are constantly on the edge of your seat. And most of that suspense is attributed to mostly sound, or in this movie, lack thereof. Because this movie really captures the feeling of, like, you know when you wake up during the middle of the night and you want to go downstairs and, like, get a glass of water or something like that, and then you go downstairs but you're trying to be really quiet because you don't want to wake up anybody in the house, but it seems like every single step you take is loud and you, like, hit the perfect creak in the floor? This movie captures that feeling really well. So the sound and the fact that Stephen Lang is really freaking creepy in this movie contribute to this film inducing minor anxiety attacks throughout the majority of the runtime. And really the only thing I didn't like about this movie was the last 3 minutes of this film. So you think the movie's over and it fades to black, but then it comes back in and shows you this little side note tidbitty thing, and it was really poorly done and didn't feel necessary at all. It felt super tacked on, and it felt like it was one of those, like, deleted scenes you see on the Blu-ray, and you're like, oh, that's a neat little thing to see, but I'm glad they didn't put it in the movie. But in this case, they put it in the movie, and I do not know why. I feel like them putting that in there just kind of has them say, hey, you're too stupid to understand what would happen after this movie, and it has to have this real neat, bow-tied, little packaged ending, and I didn't really require that at all. But besides that, this movie is pretty awesome. This is one of the best thrillers I've seen in a while, and if you enjoy movies that make you tense and sweat and keep you clenched up the whole time, then definitely check out Don't Breathe. And for those of you who did see this movie and really enjoyed it, I would recommend Hush. It's on Netflix right now, and it's about a deaf author who is secluded in the woods, and there's a masked killer outside, and he wants inside. That's all I'm going to tell you about it. It's super fun. I did a review of it, actually, and if you want to check that out, I'll put that in the description below. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, click on the link down below and subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews and movie-related things. And guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.